All right, so welcome to our Working with Portraits webinar designed to support the Memory Book Online Yearbook program. Our goal this afternoon will be to focus on functions of the program associated with the student portraits for your class photos. Specifically, we will be reviewing the uploaded class photos, printing class sheets that you can hand out to other teachers or parents that will help review and correct them and make sure that you get kiddos to the right classrooms, strategies for detecting duplicate images, correcting student names, categorizing students. And by meaning that, categorizing is just making sure they're in the right folders. And using them, and then we're going to wrap up and show the flow function to use, you'll use the flow function to build your class pages. This webinar is approximately going to be 30 to 40 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in here. Um, so if you have already set your class photos in, that's where I'm about to take you in, where to check those out once you've gotten the email notification that they're uploaded. If you're still needing to get your class photos into us, if you have a link from your photographer or that, you can forward that on to your sales rep. If your photographer has provided, maybe they've shared a Google Drive or a Dropbox, you can add that to your drive, your Google Drive or your Microsoft OneDrive or Dropbox, and then share it to us. If you still need to do that through those means, with the cloud sharing, definitely send those well, get with your rep. We have a share address for that to where to share those to. But once they're uploaded, um, where you'll come into, you're going to create, and then you're going to go into the image library to check those out. When you first get into here, everything's probably going to look a little closed up, just like it is here. But to see your portraits, you're just going to go click the white little arrow here beside portraits, and that's going to expand the list to show you your folders. Now, when you're checking out your class folders, kind of with how the system uploads this year, when it's looking at your photographer's index, so if you want it sorted by teacher, it's going to come in by, main level by teacher there. But this new upload system is also looking at the grade information that's in that index, if there's some there too. So if a teacher is teaching multiple grades, what you may see when you get in here, so if it's by this and have a grade, what you may see sometimes is a little drop down and it'll have a grade folder there that has the images for that teacher. Um, I don't think I have any that show multiple, but just in the sense, if there was a teacher in here that taught two different grade levels, under the teacher's name, you may see another, like this is Atkins fifth grade, you may see a whole nother like fourth grade or maybe whatever other class that that teacher teaches. Um, so I just wanted to keep that in mind. If you get in here, you're thinking, you click on a teacher's folder, it's like, well, where are my photos? I'm not seeing those. If you see an arrow off to the side there, just click on that. That'll drop down to where you can then see your photos there. So click on that, and then we'll see all the kiddos, for that class. Now, once they're in, one of the first things a lot of advisors will like to do, or at least if they're getting stuff organized, is printing class sheets that they can either print out or download to their system and email it to the teacher, or print it out and hand it to the teacher. But it's making a class list, so we make sure the right students are in the class, names are spelled correctly, things like that. So to print so if we want to do a composite proof sheet of this class here, you're going to come over to your categories. You're going to find the category that has the images. You're going to make sure that that one's highlighted. And then in these teeny tiny little icons that are up here to the top, you go to this fourth one, and it'll have a little PDF here. So you're looking for PDF preview. So if this is selected, we're going to click PDF preview. And here the program will generate us a class proof here. And like I said, from here, depending on your browser, this is Google Chrome, so I can, download it digitally, hook, attach it to an email. send that out to my teachers. We can also print them from here and just do handouts. Either way, it's really good for, if they do print it out, they can do markups on this, name corrections, use a pen to cross out certain students that, they're not in this class. Maybe they don't go to school anymore. Maybe they moved. Maybe somewhere down beside their names, you might put, in like move to other fifth grade. Maybe they're a fifth grader, but maybe one of these students goes to the other fifth grade class, needs to be in there. So these are definitely really helpful. If you definitely have people helping you, these work really well. That way, you have them working on that, and that way you're kind of preparing some other things there for your pages. Now, when these come back, and hopefully, if you do send these out, hopefully they come back, name corrections, stuff like that, to kind of helps you get things going in the right spot. So when those come back in, and just kind of while we're working in the library here, there's a couple of different ways that we can go about editing names, or if we need name corrections, or finding duplicates and that. Now, the first thing I'm going to actually show you is I'm going to show you another spot here in the program, because here in the image library, this is where you're going to do, your uploading, your organizing, and all that with your photos. There's one other spot that's going to help with name corrections. Just if you find yourself in this area, it works good too. But I'm going to come away from here real quick. And we're going to actually focus on this one student right here that's named Mary Abney. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you how we can go to the coverage port to easily edit names or detect duplicates. Because sometimes when you're looking for duplicates, when you're in a class folder like this, just when you're seeing the images, unless it's just an actual duplicate of that image, tell you what, I need to change something here real quick. So when we get back to that, I can show you what to do there. But oftentimes, where you get hit with it's not necessarily a duplicate. It could be you're looking for a retake as well. So maybe retakes got mixed in with the originals, or maybe that's how the photographer sent them. But there's ways that you can detect and also kind of decide which one that you want to use. So here in the library, just kind of looking at pictures, sometimes it's not obvious. But if we go under Create, and we're going to go to the coverage report for just a little bit here. Now, the coverage report is just a listing of all the tagged names that have been brought into the program. So when you send in your class photos for us to upload, and we use that index file to upload the files, the names that are in that index, it pulls the photos and the names tagged to those or attached to those images into the program all at one time. And it builds it builds our class list. So as far as coming through here and looking for duplicates, sometimes that's easier just going through here and checking last names. Now, if you come in here, if it's not usually already sorted by last name, you can use the headings up the top. If you click on the headings, these will allow you to sort them by name. So I would just go sort this column by name as you're going down. And that way, as we're going down, we can go, okay, we got 2 instances. Actually, we got 4 instances here of Carol and Alan. But I see I've got those 2 in 2 different folders. It looks like one says 4th grade Drake and one says kindergarten Smith. So that could be either it's the same tag on 2 different kiddos, or maybe you do have 2 Carolyn Allens, but it's enough to check it out and kind of see we've got it going on again here, Drake Smith. So is this duplicate images, or is the tag in here just multiple times? But these are the things that you're kind of looking through that you'll investigate. So if I come on down, there's 2 Chris Andersons, there's 2 Kristen Andersons. So the this is really kind of helpful coming to the coverage report, just so you can kind of see things basic. And as you're coming through, if you spot, the same name several times, well, like here's the name Bach here, but that just looks like that could be different, all different family members right there going through. So this really helps to check it through here. Now, we're also, you can use the coverage report to quickly edit any misspellings or just edit the tag of a name. So earlier, just a moment ago when we were in there, I said, we're going to work with that one student. It was the first in that group, and it was Mary Abney. Well, if we want to name it, instead of, let's say if her name wasn't Mary, let's say it was Marie, you could quickly come in here, put a cursor into the box, and just, type in what you need the name to be. Now, any names that you correct in the coverage report will then reflect in the image library. Um, so I've just made this change here. So then if I were to now go back to create and go to image library, and if I come into the 5th grade here, it may be hard to see, but and maybe if I just kind of hover over it, it did change to Marie Abney. So just wanted to show you that any changes in that coverage report, you'll then see here. And then it happens vice versa. So if we were to if we go into our photos, and this is how we're going to edit name. If you're in the library, this is how you'll edit a name. So you can either double click on the photo, just give it a quick double click, and it opens right up into the preview. Or if double clicking for some reason may not be working for you, if you go up and hit the little information eye in the top right corner of the image, that'll open that up in the preview as well. So when we're looking at the little preview window here, we've got our preview off to the left, and to the right is our name tag. And it's here on this name tag that we're going to edit the name. So to edit, we're going to edit Marie back to Mary, just to show you that name change. So I'm going to click edit, and then you're going to click on edit name. And you're going to get a little warning. It's just telling you that you should really only fix or use this to edit a student's name. If it's a whole nother person, um, it's best just to remove the tag, and there's another process to add the name there. So I'm going to hit edit, and instead of Marie, I'm just going to change that back to Mary, like we had in the beginning, and hit save. Now, I did change that and I hit save, but while I'm right here, it sometimes takes, now it just took right there, sometimes it takes just a second to refresh or to see those changes. So I'm going to hit done. And the same thing is here. It may take this just a second. So sometimes what I will do is just if I'm making name changes and I'm not quite sure if it did, I put the name in, I hit save. Just if it doesn't refresh quick enough there to see that, if you just jump out to another folder and come back to that folder, it's enough just to refresh it. And now we see that our name has been corrected there. So, and if we go back into the cover report, we can see that name, we're back to Mary Abney here as well. So different places, 2 different places where you can edit names there. And 2 different places where we can fix spelling, also check for duplicates when we're looking at that. Now, as far as a duplicate, let's see, I'm going to do a search on those 2 to see who was. Oh, okay. Well, in this case, I went to go check out the Carol and Allen name that I had duplicated in an index. In this case, I'm actually finding that I have 2 different students. So while that was worth checking out to see, do I had a duplicate or not, I'm actually finding out it's actually 2 different kids in here, both with the same name. So in that case, we can kind of cross that off our checklist of things to look at, and then I guess go, we don't, it's something that we don't have to worry about. But what happens, and I know these two students right here, they're not duplicate image, but I think they're two friends wearing the same sweater for picture day. We're going to treat this as, we're going to pretend that these are kind of duplicates for the day here. So when you do come across a retake or a duplicate, what you may want to do is instead of deleting the image, which deletes it from the program and then you no longer have access to it, there is a way that you can mark your images as do not use. This works really good for retakes in the event that, um, let's say that a retake comes in or you use a retake, but you need to switch back to the other image. So, but I'm going to show you that first. So let's determine that for this moment, this first example, that Brooke here, this copy of Brooke or this image right here is the duplicate, or it's the retake that we don't want to use. It's the copy of the image we don't want to use. So we're going to, either double click on the image or hit the I to bring it up in the preview. We're going to go to details, up the details here. We're going to go under preferences, and under preferences, we're going to see that this little spot that says use portrait. We're going to change this to don't use portrait. And right now we'll see that when we make that change, it did an auto save there. So this automatically saved there, and we can click done. Now what we're going to see on the photo here is do not use. So when we go to flow this group into a page, we're going to see that the program just totally skips this one and goes right over. Now, in why we have it as do not use, to say that is, let's say that you did have a parent or a teacher come back and be like, oh, or the parents really wanted the other copy or the original or this copy of that student used. Do we have that? So while the one that you marked, you didn't think you were going to need before is now needed, what you can do is always, since you marked it as do not use, it's still here in the program. You would just come back in here, mark the other copy as do not use, bring open this copy, go back under details and preferences, and just change it back to use portrait. So I'm going to keep it here as don't use portrait for just a moment. And that way we can kind of flow and show you how to make those corrections here in a little bit to, what happens if you didn't catch this before. Let's say you already flowed the page and weren't able to make this change before then. So we'll show that here in a little bit. But that's just how you'll take care of any duplicate or retake there. It's just mark it as do not use, and that's telling the program to skip right over that. Let's see here. I'm not seeing it. Used to have a teacher's image in there, but I'm not seeing it. Okay. I just had to show some, I had to move something in there. Oh, it's another kind of, actually, while I was kind of showing that, um, on things that where you get to, let's say that you do have students that are in the wrong classroom, and you need to move students around. So let's say it's okay. Adkins is one of my fifth grade, and let's see, was it Howard? One of these others was, okay, Weller is my other fifth grade. So let's say that between the two fifth grade classes, maybe I have a student here that actually, they were photographed, their photo got into Adkins fifth grade here. But let's say they need to actually be in the Weller fifth grade, so that way they go on that page. Um, So to organize your images here in the program, actually, I'm just going to take the first student. All you have to do is just drag and drop over to the folder that they need to be into. Ask if you want to move. And so that just moved her image down into here. And just I'm just going to move her back to the folder she was in. But so if you do have anyone in the wrong class, you just need to get them over. It's just a drag and drop to the folder that you need. We're going to hit, are you sure? We're going to hit move. And just like that, easy peasy, we've got our photo into the class we need here. So organization's really easy, just dragging and dropping them around to the folder that you need them in. Let's see. We did classroom change. We show edit name. We've done duplicates. One other thing I'm going to show here, and okay, so I did move a photo in here. I'm going to leave my photo. I'm going to leave this in here right now. Actually, I'll go ahead and mark it. So if you're doing class pages with the teacher on the class page as well, there's a couple of different setups depending on what kind of template that you use. So for now, I'm going to leave my photo in with the students for the type of template that I'm about to pick. Now, if you want the teacher included with the flow or with the class, you just need to drag and drop the teachers. Go to your faculty or staff folder and drag and drop the teacher into the folder with the students. And then there's one extra setting on the teacher's photo you can do to make sure that they flow before the students. So I'm going to double click the picture here. I'm going to go to details. I'm going to go back to that preferences that we showed for use portrait, but I'm going down to the next one right below it to portrait type. So I'm going to click this, and we see we've got 4 options to choose from. We have assistant, other, student, and teacher. Now, when all of the photos are uploaded to the program, whether it's class photo or any class photo that's uploaded under portrait, whether it was a staff photo, a student photo, whenever that whole grouping of photos is uploaded, all the images come in with a type of student. So the student is the default portrait type everybody has. Now, the other 3, how they play, and here's the hierarchy of these types. So teacher is the top hierarchy. So any image marked teacher will flow first. Assistant is second. So this would be, if you had like a teacher helper or a paraprofessional that works in a class that's in with those 2, and you want them to flow right after the teacher, you can mark them as assistant. Sometimes certain classes will have 2 teachers, depending on what they are. Now, if it works out to where the main teacher flows first, and then just by luck alphabetically, the other teacher's name is alphabetically behind them, you could keep them both listed as teacher, if it works out alphabetically. But if it doesn't, if the assistant has a last name that would alphabetically put them before the teacher, then go ahead and mark the assistant as teacher. Excuse me. And that way, teacher flows first and then assistant. The other hierarchies there, student falls in third, and then other is last. Now, so in some cases, what we've seen with these hierarchies, we have seen some groups that actually will flow the teacher behind everybody else. So if you ever see that, that's where you'll actually mark the teacher as other, and that way the students will flow first, and then that teacher will flow last. But in this example, I'm going to flow the teacher first here. And that's saved. I'm going to hit done. Now, while we make that change, you may notice that the photo here of the teacher is still in the same alphabetical order, even though I marked it to be first. In the image library, all the images will actually they'll all kind of show alphabetically by last name. So while here in the library, that little marking won't change where it's at in the folder, but that only affects what happens to it when we go to the page. All right, so now that I have a class pretty much prepared to flow, um, why don't we go to our pages now and kind of check out some of the templates, and we'll work on putting this group into one of our designs here. So where we're going to go to create. We're going to go to new page designer. Okay, I already kind of had a spread that was kind of further in the back ready to go. So I've got a 2-page spread here ready. So when we're looking for templates here, I'll bring that up. When we're looking for our templates on our page, we can go under designs. And for our class pages, we're going to look under portrait. And as we're looking at all, I mean, you can hit all portraits and check them all out that are here. Now, if you go back to the drop down here, the templates are first sorted in categories by photo box size. So 4x6 are, bring one over. These are boxes. These are teeny tiny. So like these are big, like big high schools, big big middle schools, and so on. So little photo boxes and stuff like that. Actually, I think that's the other. There we go. That's the other side of that one. Kind of a mix and match deal. So 4x6 is pretty small. So as we go up these numbers, you'll notice that the photo boxes get a little bit larger compared to where we were before. So they're first sorted by size. And also, if you're looking for like, if you're doing any 8th grade graduates or seniors or stuff like that, these larger boxes, that's primarily kind of what templates are for some of the, or really small classes like this one just has 9 here. There's some different bio templates here for your graduates, stuff like that. Now, as we get through the box size, the templates are categorized again by the amount of photos here. Now, what we suggest when picking a template is picking a template based off your largest class size. So, I mean, if you're in my thing, I've got, we'll just use an example. I think the class that I am about to flow has about 40 something students. So I'm going to find something within the 41 to 50 here. The reason that you would go off your largest class size, it's primarily just for consistent. If you're looking for consistency throughout the pages, like the same photo box size throughout the book, picking one off your largest class size will just ensure you have enough spots for all your other classes for the other pages. So here we go. They're sorted again by number. In this case, I'm going to go to get one kind of for my class. I think I had about 40 something here. So I go down and okay, let's say I like these 2 templates here. So I'm going to bring my left on and I'm going to bring my right on here. I can hit no there. So I can use that. I could also, if I wanted to bring that one over, I could just kind of swap that and have kind of a side-by-side thing. Now, if something happens like that, if you bring over a left and goes to right, and your names are kind of flipped here, if you want to flip those over to the other side, what we'll do is we're going to select the flow element. So if you're ever working on stuff or if you need help or you call into us and need help, we refer to this little head and shoulder grouping here as the flow element. So it's just one big grouping. It's got the head and shoulder spots here. So a lot of times when you're working with the templates, they're already kind of pretty much the way that you need them. Just in cases where you take a left template, put it on the right, the flow element doesn't flip like the rest of the design. So if we want to fix this real quick or make any other little adjustments, with this selected, we're going to go up here to the top toolbar, and to the left of the trash can, we're going to see this drop down that looks like a Belgian waffle. It's flow options. So we're going to go under flow options. And currently we're not working with the portrait. I like the size of the box. I'm not going to work with any of this portrait sizing options there. So I'm going to close those up. I'm going to go actually under name options for this one. And here I see we've got under name options, name positioning. I've got names on left horizontal. Well, I want the names out on the right. So I'm just going to click this down, and here we go to our other choices here, but I'm just going to choose names on right horizontal. And now I've got my names to the outside there. And I'm going to hit save here, just to save my changes. Now there's some other things that you will want to do before you flow the class in, because once you flow the class in, it doesn't take those away there. All right. So what we'll do here in this case, so some things that you'll want to change before you flow the students in would be if you want to adjust names, or if you want to do a little bit of formatting to the photo box, either give it a little bit of stroke, or maybe you want rounded corners, or maybe you want these to be oval, things like that. So all of this we'll want to do before we flow into it. So I'm going to select my flow element, and then I'm going to go to the bar that shows up just above the page here. And let's say the first thing I want to do is change my font to, just want to go up to 8 here, just bring it a little bit. You know what, let's say I also want to change the style my names are in. So I'm going to go Egyptine 8. Now, when you do one side, you will need to, and this is assuming that you have a class that's going across both pages, um, like so. So a lot of times, a lot of groups will just do a page. One class is going on a single page. If you have bigger groups, then you'll need to edit that, all the different flow elements that go with that group, um, to the same here. So I'm going to match that. I'm going to go to Egyptine, for example, and I'm going to put that at 8. And there we go. Normally what I like to do after making little changes like this is go ahead and hit save. And that way I just know I got both sides done. Let's see. Let's say that I want to also, that's not what I wanted. I do want to give it a stroke. That puts a little simple order on it. Now, if I go back under flow options, under the flow options, you can either just keep it here, or you can unpin it to where you can move it around if you need to keep that up between. So on the flow options with these, you can actually, if it's already a rectangle, you can do rounded corners. And you can have a slider here, or if you've got a certain number that you like, let's say you always do like 6, you can just do it like that. You could also, if we click portrait shape, you've got your other choices to do, like circle, diamond, pentagon, hexagon, all different, trapezoids even. Where was, oh yeah, parallelogram. I've got a template that has some that are like that. Um, this actually looks kind of neat when it has less columns and the boxes are wider. So this one kind of looks neat when it has like maybe about 20 photo boxes or so. But just want to point out some of these different cool little things. You can have the kids come in there. let's see, I'm going to go rectangle, but I'm going to go with a 12-point round. I'm going to go back to this side, and I'm going to give it a 12-point round. All right, and I like that. So that's kind of like how I like this here. And so, okay, I got this. I've got a class template that I like. Um, Now, one thing that you should do is if you do format a template before or one of the designs that are here, um, before you flow into it, you'll always need to make sure you go up and any changes you do, and before you flow, you need to come up and hit save. Um, and that way the program will then let you flow. Um, but another thing that you might do is once you have maybe, if you've got class going on one page, you got a layout that you like, you might go up and do a file, save as template. You can name it, my class page or, class page. And I'm going to give mine a date. So I know today was the day I created this one. So you can save left, right, both pages. I normally like to save a separate left and a separate right, just because if you have a big high school or a big middle school, you may not work out even to where you drop a spread template on. Let's say it goes on to a fifth page, an odd number page. You'd want just kind of one more template to be there. Or depending on where that group starts on, maybe some groups start on the right page, or I mean left page, and then maybe due to one page or one group being a little bit larger, the next group starts on an odd page. So definitely, save yourself a left. And you know what? Class page, I'll go back here and name it left so I know it's left. And turn around, save as template, mark the right one, class page right, and save. Doing this will definitely save you some time if you've got a lot of classes to do in that. And that's just so when you go on, okay, I'm saved. If you go on to the next page, actually, that just reminded me about something else, but we'll come back to it here. But that way, if we go to the next page, we can go under designs. We can go under custom this time and look under our My Templates. And we can find, here's my class page left, my class page right that I named today, and I'll just bring that on. Do you want to retain existing? There's nothing here, so we're going to hit no. And here we have our formatted template that we had on the other page. So definitely, if you do get a template that's you've formatted in that, definitely save it as a template. And that way, save it as your own template. And that way, you don't find yourself just having to keep on doing that road, unnecessarily, keep doing the same formatting over and over. All right. So with our template saved in that, let's say, we've got our layout ready. Now let's get the kiddos into it. So we're going to go to flow. And from the top part here, we've already gone through on adding your templates. These are flow elements that are here. And that's what these are on our pages. So we don't need to add a flow element because we have a template that has one. So next we're actually going to come down and just pick the class that we want to flow. We'll need to open up these arrows here and where we can select a folder that has the student images. And now we're looking at the next one down is name format. This is how the names are going to appear on the page. First, last is the default how they flow in. But if you do like to change them back to being last name and then first, we've got that option. Next, it's going to tell us how many images that we have. So we've got 42 images. Next, we're coming down is our start and our stop fields. And then right below that is available positions. So if there's anything that is not aligned here, now what this is, the start and stop fields, that is the page or page range that you're flowing over. So in this example, I'd really want my start because I'm starting on 76 and I'm going to end this group on 77. Um, so I'm going to start on 76, but my start on 76. Now, if you have smaller classes that are just going on one page, your start and stop will be the same. So if this, instead of a group of 42 images, let's say I had uh, 24 students in this class, I know that they're going to fit all on one side. So that's where you would put your start and stop to be the same. But in this example, since I have a larger class, they're going over to 77. I know that the stop's going to be on 77. Now, once you have your images and your start and stop, the way have enough spots, you got the right pages, this little area right here will then show exactly like this. It'll tell you how many positions you got available. If this spot ever lit up in red, it will not let you continue. It won't let you proceed and flow. It's letting you know, hey, something's off here. Take a look at something. Is it you know pages or amount of positions? Sometimes that may show red and won't let you do it because we didn't go up and hit save, and that's kind of, I'll need to hit save right now. But if you got your template on, you got your class, you got your name, you got the correct start and stop, and this is just in white here, there's no red. That's telling you everything's okay, and you're just going to come down and hit flow, and that's going to bring your class. Oh, looks like I did have enough spots on that page. Okay, well, I could always pick a bigger group or that to go over, but in this case, everybody flowed here the way I wanted it. I see, the teacher picture took the first spot that's there. So we've got everybody kind of flowed in. Now, let's say that, I flowed this to the wrong page, if you have that kind of incident. So if you ever have a flow that maybe you caught, after flowing them in, let's say you find a few things like, okay, well, maybe now I found the duplicate image, or I've got this class on the wrong page, or something like that. Um, if you ever need to redo a flow, just come back over to the flow tab, and down next to where the flow button is, just hit reset. And that's going to pull everybody back out of the template that is there. And then you can kind of adjust so I'm going to adjust my start and stop to 77. So I actually need to be here. So then just make sure your start and stop are to the new page, and flow, and they'll flow in on this side. Now back on this side, one thing I'll show you, if you did have a class that maybe the class that is supposed to go here, maybe it has a few more spots. The initial flow will take away any extra spots that it doesn't use, but they are still there, but hidden. So if you ever need to come back and let's say you reset and you need to add a few more spots back to this, you're going to double click on the flow element. So I'm just going to double click it, and you'll notice everything kind of ghosts out around the flow element here. But now we see those 6 spots that were taken away. So if we need to add spots back, you'll see there's a little eyeball icon in the top of the photo boxes here. We're just going to flip those back on. And now we've got the rest of our spots back. And then now I'm going to hit save. And now if we flow a different class into this, then this just ensures that we've got enough spots back for them. But there we have it. This is how you build a class page. Definitely, make use of the pre-made templates that are here. Definitely when you get to start planning your pages or going through here, definitely I would plan out your class, where your class pages are going first. because once you get your class pages set up, where you want them templates on, these are where my class pages are, then all the other pages you're just filling in with your candidates and activities. So this is the core of the work right here, getting these in, and then once you get this in, then you've got all the other little stuff, just to kind of go in from there. Um, so we've gotten all the way through today on just photos coming in, how to set up your template, how to flow them in, and some of the little checks for how to resolve any little issues. Um, well, I thank everybody that is here today. I'm actually what we're going to do is I'm going to end here, but if we do have, I'm going to keep things open for a little bit for any kind of Q&A. If you have any questions for a little bit. But I do appreciate everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Hopefully, going over these demonstrations and functions, related to portrait pages. Hopefully that eliminates some trial and error that could occur when working on the yearbook. Um, Definitely printing portrait sheets and editing class data ahead of time should help result in better accuracy on some of the most important pages of your book. So thank you again, everybody, for joining me. For those of you that uh, have things going on and need to get going, thank you. Really appreciate that you being here. Any of you that would like to stick around and have a few or have questions or want to do a little bit of Q&A, feel free. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording, and then I'll open it up to you guys.